Hey, BubbaTac here, also known as OkieTools, and I'm doing another buckshot patterning video. Today we're going to be patterning some Winchester Super X 12 gauge 2 3/4 1325 feet velocity 9 pellet double aught buckshot. And this is going to be just another test of the types of buckshots that are available in stores. This one's pretty widely available. Got this one I think at Academy. About $5. It's a little bit more, maybe about like 50 cents more expensive than the Remington Express buckshot that I like to use, but it's still pretty affordable. So let's go ahead and see how it does. Okay, first shots are going to be from 10 yards using my Remington 870 Police Magnum 20-inch barrel. So real quick before we get to the targets and how the actual buckshot performed and pattern, as you saw from those previous sequence of video, I want to go ahead and just talk about the round itself real quick here on the tabletop. So you know, everybody's pretty familiar with Winchester Super X, you know, red shell and high brass, so they're just pretty basic. There's also another round that I think I'm going to be testing that's from Winchester that is the mil spec or the green or the OD green or whatever you want to call it from Winchester. That, you know, scuttlebutt round is pretty much basically the same exact thing as this Winchester Super X, and that's why I've kind of put off testing that round, but I think I'm going to, just to kind of prove to myself and so that you guys can see too that it is basically the same thing and performs the same way and everything. So stay tuned for that. Just real quick to talk about the round though. If you've seen the Remington video that I did recently, and the one I had done quite a bit ago, a couple years back, and I'll put that in annotation in the comments, and you know, at the end of the video as well. And I think you guys should go check that out to kind of see what I'm talking about. In that video I talked about shot cups and had actually recovered some, and it's an actual cup that goes around the actual shot, and as it comes out of the barrel it opens up with these wings and separates from the shot and allows the shot to go down range, and it just kind of protects the shot and keeps the shot together as it's moving through the barrel. Winchester Super X doesn't actually have anything like that. What it basically has is a plastic wad. So this piece right here, this end of it, actually sits over the powder, and the shot actually sets up against this, and this actually pushes the shot down the barrel, but it doesn't keep it in place or surround it in any way. I guess some people like it that way. I don't know. I kind of like a shot cup round. This is a big improvement, however, over what Winchester used to use. I have actually seen pictures and some videos of Winchester buckshot that had been opened up to kind of show what you were getting with that round, and it was actually cardboard wads instead of actually a plastic wad like this one. So you know, just cardboard paper compressed into a wad and then put over the top of the powder, and to help propel the shot down the barrel, and then, you know, allow the shot to continue down range and it just, you know, fall off. So this does the same thing basically, but it is plastic, and it does give you a little bit more distance than that wad did, that cardboard wad did, and it's just a better design than just using some cheap cardboard. But it would be nice to see them have a shot cup. All the much nicer rounds that don't actually cost any more, and in some cases, like I've seen Remington Express go for less than Winchester Super X, have shot cups. So does the Federal. Federal also has baffling, the little almost like very small styrofoam pieces that actually go in between the shot to actually keep it packed together and protect it as it's going down the barrel. So I mean, there's, for the same price basically, or maybe even a little bit less, you get rounds that have a little bit more substance to them, a little bit more design features in them. But it's nice to see that Winchester has gone to using a much better wad than they have used in the past. Would be nice to see them use a shot cup though in the future. Okay, we got the 10-yard targets here, and we're going to go over it. So the reason why I shoot 3 rounds, if you hadn't seen my other videos, 3 rounds at the same range is to, at 10, 15, and 25, is to get an idea of how that round is going to perform over multiple shots. If you pattern it once, shoot it once, it gives you a pretty good idea, but it basically only gives you a good idea of how it performed that singular time. It's nice to actually have a few targets to look at to get an idea of the consistency of that round and how it performs over multiple shots. So that's why I shoot it a few times here, which is a good idea for you guys to do too when you're doing your patterning, to get an idea of its consistency. And we really do get an idea in this round of its consistency. Get to that in a moment. What I want to say first off is the first thing that came to my mind when I saw these rounds after I shot them, these patternings after I shot them, and here on the table again while I'm looking at them, is that this round at 10 yards seems to really like to spread out. So by and large, when you're at 5 yards, it should be just looking like a ragged hole. And at 10 yards, what you're kind of really going for is for it to be basically as much as possible within all the shot to be within inside of a 6-inch circle like that. And not just that per se, but just, nicely grouped together with inside, say, a 6-inch circle. If you have some flyers here and there, that's almost unavoidable when you're talking about 9 balls of buckshot just going down the barrel and banging into each other, like what you're going to get when you don't have a shot cup from like Winchester here. So you may have some flyers, that's understandable, but you want that to be still fairly tight. And in this particular case, you're not really seeing that. That's not terrible though. It still looks like a very consistent round, getting to consistency. So you have 3 out up here and you have 3 out over here. The difference in variation there is probably just from my hold and my actual shot on the target, just from my accuracy and whatnot. But that's very, similar to each other. Almost identical in the positioning and everything. So, some of the shot hitting up here, some of the shot hitting up here, some of the shot hitting up here, some shot hitting down here, and then these shots over here, basically to the right, upper right of the circle. So, I mean, it's a very consistent round from what I'm seeing. You even have wad hits, wad strikes on the target at very similar positions. So, I mean, it's a very consistent round. And here we go on number 3. All 9 are actually on the target. The 9th one was right there. I drew an arrow to show where it was at. And there's another wad strike. That's a complete pass-through on that one in particular. So, those wads are cooking going down range sometimes. But very similar here. You do have 4 out, but you still have the 3 over here to the right, upper right of the circle, and you just had another flyer out there. But it's patterning pretty wide, spreading out pretty good at 10, but it's doing it consistently, and that is a positive for it. I do prefer a little bit tighter. If you're like me and you do prefer a little bit tighter, then you might be looking elsewhere. But if a little bit of spread is okay for you, you could do a lot worse than what this is looking like. I mean, if you're interested in spread, it's looking pretty good. And as far as consistency, this round is looking pretty good so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next ones.
Okay, next shots are from 15 yards.
So at 15 yards, you're really going to start seeing, as you can see here on the 15-yard targets, you're really going to start seeing a lot of that spread coming in again. And these shots, especially on the number 2, are very spread out. So as you can see here, I wrote there are 9 pellets in there. Only 8 went on target here. So you had 1 flyer. I believe because of this discoloration right here, it was probably off to the left there. Over here you had 7 on, 1 impacted down here, as you can see, and then another one, as you can see from this arrow, impacted right here to the side. That only counts for 8. There is a 9th one that is missing, that I'm assuming, since it was kind of trailing off over here, it's over here somewhere off target. And then down here on the 3 position, all 9 were on. but their number 9 was probably the very best target, but still really spread out. It started intruding onto the number 1 target up here, as you can see, and you do have 4 in. You also have 4 in number 1, and you almost have 4 in on number 2. You kind of have this this pattern where you get like these 4 that are in and 4 that are out in the periphery. You also see that in number 2, almost 4 that are in and 4 that are out on the periphery, and then here at the number 3 position, you see it real well. You actually have 4 in and then 4 that are out here, and then a 5th one up here. So I mean, they're still patterning fairly consistently like each other. Again, wad strikes on all the targets, and definitely, in my opinion, number 3 patterned the best out of the 3 actual shots. But I mean, you're getting a lot of spread still, a lot more spread than what I'm kind of used to with my Remington Express round that I like so well, or some of the other rounds that I've tested. But I mean, it's not terrible. I'm not trying to badmouth it or anything. It's just pretty spread out, but it's still looking fairly consistent. I mean, they're still performing fairly similar to each other. So.
Okay, the next series of sequence of shooting is going to be from about 25.
Okay, so we have the 25-yard targets here, and as you can see, for the very first thing right off the bat, there is a very large wad strike right here, dead center on the number 1 in the 6-inch circle, but there are no buckshot strikes inside the 6-inch circle. They are all dispersed mostly, there's a few over here, but they're mostly dispersed up here to top of the right of the 6-inch circle. And all 9 are on this particular target. And you're really getting a feel here at 25 yards coming from 10 yards what that spread's looking like out here. You're not getting any strikes in the middle other than the wad. So this is the number 2 target here. It has another wad strike right up here. All 9 are on, if I'm not mistaken. And again, this is probably the best one because of those 2 that are actually in the 6-inch circle. But again, it is patterning more up here towards, to the right of the target and up here with these up here. So this is the best one because you do have 3 that actually did impact inside the 6-inch circle, and as close to at 25 yards, the shot's going to be opening up a lot. Any manufacturer's shot's going to be opening up a lot at 25 yards, but you're wanting to have it as dense in the center of the target as it can be, and you're just not really seeing that here. This is the best one of the 3 that'll give you the most idea of optimally how that's going to perform. And it's still, I mean, I've seen better out there for sure. So this is the 3rd target. It is 8 on, so 1 was a flyer. As you can see, the wad strikes over here, and there's 1 that was down there, 1 pellet that hit down there. You have 1 in and 1 that almost got in, and this one's more centered. These could be variations on my hold on the target, my actual shot placement, but because they seem to be performing very similar to each other, striking on the right upper part of the target, having either 2 in or 2 close or none in, and with wad strikes on all 3 targets there, if anything, you're seeing some consistency just like you did at 15, just like you did at 10 yards with how they're performing. But going back to the number 2, this being the best of the 3, the 2nd shot, you're looking for it to do a little bit better than that. You're getting a lot of spread. If spread is your thing, then this may be what you're looking for, but you're getting a lot of spread, and that's not really what you want. And I'd heard this about Winchester Super X before. It's not the personal round that I like to use or that I've ever really used for anything in the past. I just wanted to test it for you guys so you could see it. It is an affordable round. I think I paid like $5 for the box of 5. There are some others that are out there that are less expensive, slightly less expensive than that, and they perform a little bit better. But just wanted to give you guys an idea of how it was going to perform across 3 shots at 3 different ranges. And the one thing that you are getting is per round it is performing consistently with the rounds that you are firing at that particular time. So they are performing consistently together, but they're performing consistently in a big spread. And that, if you're like me, may be too big of a spread. But if that's your thing, you know, hey, not bad mouthing it, just showing how it's performing. So this was my video showing how Winchester Super X 12 gauge 2 3/4 1325 feet per second velocity, or per minute, sorry about that, at a 9 pellet double aught buckshot performed. Thanks for watching.